people. At least you're not late. Haha. Like I said, I'm not late.
Just sound check.
Sound check. Does anybody hear me? Is anybody out there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me if I whisper? Come on, get your nose over here.
Okay, yes. Najkin, I can post it. Yep.
Najkin. No, you cannot sign up for a channel membership from an iPhone. Apple blocks it.
Oh, that's really funny. It's good to know.
Jerks. Hello, nose.
Okay, hi. Okay, I'll send you the link. Let me just get the other tablet.
Oh, another tablet. We need another tablet. We don't got enough tablets around here because we need some more tablets. Hello. Hey, Mike Caldwell. I have a question for you. Can you hear what I'm saying? All right, I'm just going to presume everyone can hear me. Not that you would want to. What's this? All right. Is it 11 o'clock? It's 11 o'clock. Well, that means I'm supposed to start talking now. So, all right, first, a few things. We hear you loud and clear. Excellent. Okay.
Off the screen.
A few things that I was supposed to mention at the beginning. Dashaina just told me these to me, and I forgot them, of course. No, here we go. One is everybody don't be a dick. Everyone's been doing a great job of that, though. Like ever since I started doing these lives, there's been like very few, snarky commenters or anything like that, or trolls. And that's excellent. Thank you for doing that. So basically on that note, if there's a question that you wouldn't answer yourself, you probably should think about whether or not you should actually ask it. So yeah, don't be a dick. Continue not being dicks. Continue being awesome. Thank you for that. Now, what was the other thing I was supposed to talk about? Oh yeah, if you have a question, just put a couple question marks at the beginning or write question in capital letters just so it's easy to see, because when there's a bunch of comments there, I might miss it. And if you ask a question and I totally don't notice it, feel free to ask it again. It's not being rude or anything. If I didn't answer a question, I probably just didn't see it because it got lost in a few comments or whatever. So don't feel like you're being rude if you re-ask a question. All right. Now, I'm supposed to also mention the email address, which is in the comments. No, not in the comments. In the subject.
Description.
The description. It's in the description.
I'll also put it in the comments.
Dude, I don't have internet at my house anymore. I'm like totally disconnected. I don't know what any of this stuff is anymore, but somehow I have an email address that's in the description, not the comments.
It'll be in the comments too.
It'll be in the comments too. And it's something like theadventurebuildermovie@gmail.com. I think that's it.
You got it, buddy.
All right, now I'm just going to start talking about some stuff. So last week, I mentioned that I didn't have any kind of shaver device to like shave my head or my face. And I'm not sure if I want to keep my head shaved or not. I kind of like it, but then bugs can get me easily. I know that. But I wear a hat when I go outside anyway. Anyway, that's beside the point. So I was saying I didn't have any shaver that worked. And I did have a wall trimmer, WAHL. I was told they were good, so I bought one like 15 years ago. And right off the bat, it didn't really work. Like I could kind of do it. It would take like 20 times longer than it's supposed to take, and it just didn't work very well. So some people suggested some other trimmers last week. And I was like, okay, before I actually buy something, maybe I should check this trimmer that I have and see if there's anything I can do to it. And maybe should we get like a kid to stop screaming downstairs? Yeah. So I was like, maybe I should try sharpening it. Now, supposedly it should come sharpened from the factory, right? At least that's why I never sharpened it before, because it didn't work right off the bat, and from the factory it should be sharpened. But I was like, all right, let me just take the little blades off and sharpen it. Now the blades are kind of like this. It's like, so if a hair gets caught in here, it like scissors it apart, right? And it's about that wide, and like it just goes like this. So I took the one blade thing and put it on my diamond sharpener and scribbled it around, looked at it, and was like, okay, it looks like it's doing good. And that one I got good. Then I took the other one And I put it down on the diamond sharpener thing, and I rubbed it, and I looked at it, and I could tell that it was sharpening, like it was contacting here, but not where the blades were. So immediately my brain was like, oh, well, there's the problem right there. So because this was higher than the blades, it was kind of like this. Now I'm exaggerating a lot. It was this tight enough space that it was still kind of cut, but hairs would just get through there and not get cut. So, I took that and ground it down until the blades were actually touching the grinder. And then I put them together. I put the whole thing back together, screwed it together, and it was like, it was totally what it's supposed to do. So I have to remember not to give up on things just because they're not doing what should happen. Because when I didn't sharpen it, when I got it from the factory, I was presuming that the factory guys sharpened it right. Nah, shouldn't do that. Never trust someone else to do a job. Do it yourself. And if someone else did a job and something's not working, check it yourself. Anyway, so that I fixed my shaver thing. It seems to work amazingly now after 15 years of having it and not really ever using it because it didn't work. So yeah, that issue is solved. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, which kind of relates to that a little bit in terms of not giving up on things. The other thing I want to talk about is the things that prevent us from living the life we want. So people talk to me a lot about how, I've overcome a lot of these things, but even now I still have, things that prevent me from doing things that I want to do. But let me back up a little bit to earlier in my life, because some of the things that prevented me from doing what I wanted earlier in my life, a lot of people will relate to, and a lot of people are probably like either overcoming them or just being totally pulverized by them. But earlier in my life, the thing that really held me back from living the life I wanted was the fear that if I took responsibility for my own life by doing what I really wanted to do and it didn't go well, then it was all my fault. And that's kind of a convoluted way to say that. I can probably simplify that a little bit. Basically, when you do what you think you should do against what everyone else thinks you should do, if it doesn't go well, everyone can look at you and say, oh, that was 100% your fault. You didn't do what everyone else said, and it blew up in your face. You're stupid. And that's basically what held me back for a lot of years when I was younger. And it wasn't until I got over that and realized, wait. If I'm just going to do what everyone else tells me because then when it doesn't go well, it's not my fault, then I'm just going to spend my entire life doing what I don't want to do, having things blow up in my face and just being able to say, well, it wasn't my fault because I didn't think that was a good idea. Well, other people told me to do that. That's what I was supposed to do. That's what I was told to do. So it didn't go well, so it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. The problem is, it's my life. So whether or not it's my fault, it doesn't matter. My life was still going the wrong way. It's kind of like if you walk across a crosswalk when you know a car's coming and you just think, well, it's not my fault because the law says that I get to cross the thing and the cars just have to stop for me. Well, if you get hit by the car, you still get a broken leg. So eventually I got to the point where I realized, you know what? I need to figure out what I want to do with my life and not worry about the fact that it might not go well, because things are always not going to go well. Like some things are going to go well, some things are going to go well. You're never going to have a perfect record. There are going to be problems. And if you do things on your own and you do things, kind of outside of what is generally expected by, mass society or whatever, everyone is going to point at you and say, it's because the thing you're doing, that's weird. That's why everything went wrong. So if you live off grid, if anything goes wrong, it's because you live off grid. If you're gay and your relationship doesn't work, it's because you're gay. I'm not gay, but I presume this happens to gay people. But like if you drive a pedal boat, huge long distances instead of getting a gas motor. If you ever get stuck, oh, you should have got the gas motor like everybody else. You always should have done everything like everybody else. Anytime you do anything different, we'll point your finger at you and say you're an idiot. So that, and I know I'm kind of beating that to death here, but that is the thing that like keeps so many people locked into mortgages they don't want, in houses they don't want, living in places they don't want to be, or buying a car with like a 5-year loan, knowing now I'm enslaved for 5 years to pay this thing up, but that's what I'm supposed to do because that's what's expected of me, instead of figuring out some other way to do things. Okay, so at some point I pretty much got over a lot of that stuff. But even today, I still have, things that hold me back from doing things I want to do. And I wonder what Dashaina thinks those things are, but I'm not going to ask her right now. But mostly it's socializing with people, because I want to have a bigger community of cool people around here. And we're slowly, getting more cool people living around here. It's just going very slowly. It's going well, though. I can't really complain because, I have a few good friends around here who are, into living off grid and, being their own weird selves and doing their own thing. And I love that. I think it's great. But I do kind of feel like I should socialize more and, maybe get that going a little more and, have more friends and stuff like that. And the thing that holds me back from that, and it comes under the same umbrella as, maybe it's not going to go well. That's kind of the fear that prevents people from doing everything. Maybe it's not going to go well. So do I want to go talk to that girl? I don't know. Maybe it's not going to go well. Or do I want to apply for this job? Well, maybe I won't get it. Or just waste my time. So the thing right now is, whenever I meet a new person, I can't help thinking, oh God. Within like 30 seconds, they're going to be talking about brand names and I'm just going to be like, I don't care. Or as soon as they see that I'm, doing things alternatively, all they're going to do for the rest of the conversation is just try to get me to change. And I'm just going to be like, oh, why am I even here? So, I mean, it's not an irrational fear or something, because that does happen a lot, but I shouldn't let that prevent me from meeting people, because if I meet enough people, I'm gonna get to some people who are also like, I love what you're doing, or maybe I don't even like what you're doing, but I like that you're doing whatever you do, and I like to do whatever I do too. And then I get to meet people who are also, independent thinkers and want to do their own thing. And I don't even care if they want to do anything the same as me. It's just I really like talking to people who think and do the things that are in their own head, not just what's being thrown at them by society and the world around. So I think that's something I need to work on more. Instead of letting that knee-jerk reaction hit me every time I could potentially meet a new person, I need to say, no, this person might be cool. I got to give them a chance. So I think that's something I need to work on. So here's a question for you guys. What holds you back from doing what you want to do with your life? Feel free to slap that in the comments. And I can't actually see the comments right now because they're disappeared from my screen. But Dashaina, you have a thing that shows you comments.
Yeah.
Do you want to come tell me if anyone has said, boy, this Jaimie guy, I wish he would stop talking.
Yeah,
I've already gone on for like 14 and a half minutes.
Oh my God.
It's like a timer here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can scoot over.
Thanks.
What do you got there?
The tablet with the
Stop
thing.
looking at porn.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Yeah, porn. Yeah.
Ooh, you got anything good?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm still opening the thing.
I can move this down because you're short. Like,
yeah.
aim it down a little.
So now I'm going to get the link for you. I just have to do it on my tablet, which we're currently videoing off of. So I will get it, and then I will post it in the comments and in the description of how to join if you would like to become a member through YouTube. And there is also a way to join through Patreon as well as PayPal. already in the description if either of those two methods work for you as well. So
on the topic of Patreon, someone asked like a few weeks ago why the videos weren't being instantly linked to Patreon, and you got it fixed.
The problem. So
yes.
yeah, so now the Patreon videos are posted at the same time that it goes live on YouTube, so that it should all be synced correctly. It seems to be working. And
it wasn't your fault. It just started working.
Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe, I mean, it could have been my fault, but I was following the directions.
Anyway,
so,
it's fixed now, right?
Yeah, it's totally been taken care of.
Totally fixed.
Anyway, good morning, Tomaters. Nice to see you.
What's Tomaters doing here?
He showed up. And thank you, Eric. Also,
now,
good morning. I forget.
I have a question for Tomaters. Are you like the best reverse driver in the world? Can you like just reverse and just look in your rearview mirrors and just drive around like normal?
Okay, so catching up. And so guys, so basically starting now, feel free to ask questions. I'm not going to go back through the chat too much from this point because it's just a lot to go through, but I do always go back through the chats later on after we finish the live. So anyway,
I want to know what the thing is that holds other people back.
Okay, so Eric says, thing holding me back right now is ability to prioritize appropriately. I think I tend to go in 100 directions, get overwhelmed, and get tired. Don't make much progress, and I'm getting better though. And yeah, I think that happens to a lot of people. That actually, I was talking to Terry about that yesterday.
Well, that can happen to anyone. I mean, for me, I've pretty much got that under control. But I remember when I first moved off grid. I went from like basically, growing up in city life where everything is like straight lines and you follow the thing and you stay between your lane and, it was a kind of always, everything was kind of set out for you in the city. Yeah. And then when I moved off grid, it was like, okay, it's the morning, I've woken up, I've had breakfast, and now there are 8,000 things that I could do, like all kinds of different things. What do I pick? And I learned very quickly after I moved off grid that I just need to stop and prioritize things and maybe make a list. I used to make a lot of lists. I don't do it so much now. Once in a while I still do though. But I would make a list of all the things and then kind of write a number beside each of them as, indicating which was the highest priority or the lowest priority or whatever. And I wouldn't worry too much about it getting it exact, but just getting a general idea of what the highest priority things were. And then I'd make a little box beside each thing. And then I would just be like, all right, what's a high priority thing that I can do right now? And then I'd pick one and just put everything else out of my mind. And then I'd focus on that and get it done. And then I get to check off the little box. Oh, so exciting. And then but I wouldn't just check off the box. I would check off the box and then I'd be like, with a big crayon and just destroy that item. Annihilate it. Yeah.
So
and then I get to do the next thing on the list.
So Pitchwife would like to tell you that.
Wait, what is Pitchwife?
That's their name.
Does he throw his wife?
Pitchwife, I don't know. It could be.
Or is it a wife who's good at pitching or goes to the pitch? Okay, anyway.
I don't know. So at any rate, they say, because I'm not sure it could go either way, but love the shave. You look so handsome shaved.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, the question I have is, how will you explain your philosophy of life to your children when they begin to desire to see the world you've left behind? Thanks, love.
Well, they already see the world. Like we don't shelter them from anything. Obviously, we live on an island, so they're not like in cities all the time. But they interact with people. If people come by, we don't hide them from them or anything. And we go visit the store and stuff.
We had visitors today.
And one guy swore, and he was like, "Oh!" And I was like, "Dude, you can say swear words," because my kids swear because
mom swears all the time.
Well, no, it's because we made a conscious decision. And we were like, when they were little, and we were like, okay, what are we doing about swear words? I think we either need to just totally ignore them or just make them words. Yeah. And we decided to just make them words. Yeah. So all the F words and S words, to my kids, they're just normal words and they use them appropriately.
Most of the time. Occasionally they use them as funny jokes.
Yeah, but that's appropriately because swear words are funny. That's what we basically made the swear words into funny words instead of horrible, you can't ever say these words. Wait, what was it? Oh, the rest of the question.
Right.
It was like,
do you want me to read?
oh, how am I gonna?
Yeah.
Okay, so we also watch movies and stuff. So we, see lots of people behaving well and badly. And whenever you want me to move my legs,
Why don't you move your legs?
All right,
Yeah,
fine.
thank you.
So whenever we watch movies, in particular, my oldest daughter asks like 1,000 questions. Like last night, I don't even remember what we watched.
Critic?
No. Oh, we watched Oblivion.
Oblivion. That was the other one I mentioned.
So, oh my gosh, she had so many questions about that. Because in the movie Oblivion, there's a big mystery that kind of is slowly unraveled, and then my daughter had a million questions about that. So that's not the best example of what I'm talking about. But we'll watch movies where there's lots of social interaction and there's good people and bad people, or there are good people and bad people, and my kids will ask me all kinds of questions, and I'll just answer all of them. And usually we watch the movie in the evening, and then we'll just get in our beds. And at my house, we just have like mattresses all over the floor. Then we pick them up in the morning and we just lay them down wherever we want. So we can all talk to each other. And then we'll just like lay around talking for like half an hour, and slowly one kid at a time will pass out. And a lot of it is just answering all the questions with appropriate virtuous content, sort of. And then I also just whenever something is happening, like I have a video, at least one video where where I showed us going to get water for the kitchen, because my kitchen doesn't have plumbing coming into it. And I did that on purpose because I like going to get the water, because one of my principles is strength, not being lazy. So I get my kids whenever they're around to go get the water. So they'll get gallons of water and bring it back. And whenever we're doing that, I'll make a silly voice, and this is a big quest and it's an adventure. And when you go get them, you get more strength. And strength is one of the principles in the Adventure Builders Club. And whenever something comes up where there's a scary thing, like there's a bug, well, you need to use your courage. You have to have your courage. And whenever there's a situation where someone has done something and they don't want to admit it, it's like, well, if you don't tell the truth, then you end up with bad honor. So I always kind of build those conversations into our daily lives. And then whenever we encounter someone who is maybe not so adventure builder. Well, actually, that's become a term. Actually, that person is not adventure builder. That person is adventure builder. But like my kids will always ask me, like, that person is doing something that's not good. They're lying or whatever, and then I'll just talk to them about it, and kind of go over the consequences and like why it actually is important to be impeccable with your words, for example, to be honorable, to tell the truth. Why it is important to be humble, to not be arrogant, because like all this stuff has very far-reaching consequences. It's not like if you're a liar, you tell the lie and you get away with it and yay, that's it. No, all that stuff like builds up and kind of comes after you later that day or later in life. It's this karma. Everything you do comes back to you in some way. And I always try to, kind of like show how that's like happening, not in some vague way, like in specific terms. Yeah.
So Tomato says he can drive backwards and forwards.
I bet he's an amazing rear view mirror driver.
So some other comments answering your question that you asked the crowd.
Yeah.
Is one person said, Kiev Chap says, I don't usually write, but the question got to me. I guess it's the indoctrination from society. Even you are a creative. The environment of conventional society kills the spirit really fast.
Totally.
And procrastination. And
well, I think procrastination is related to a lot of that stuff, because the more excuses you have to not do something, you are to procrastinate. So a lot of times when people are procrastinating, it's because of what he just talked about. That if you do this thing you want to do, there's just this lineup of people who are going to come and crap on you for it and crap on your thing. Like, say you want to sew. Like I sew a lot of my clothes. Like this was a big one when I was originally sewing my own clothes. I was like, well, someone's going to see that I made it myself, and they're going to say, oh, you made your own clothes. That looks like crap. And then as soon as they know that I made it, you know, they get out the microscope and they're like, oh, your stitches are garbage. And
isn't that kind of funny that happens? Because if you look at things that come out of the factory, because like I also sew.
Oh yeah.
And you examine like this shirt that
I'm wearing right now.
But you would never think to do that if you knew it came from a factory. You're like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But there's so many, like this one.
I made this shirt, by the way. I love this shirt.
I did not make.
Yeah.
I have several different colors of it, and the gray ones under the arm was coming apart.
Yeah.
Like within the first time I hand washed it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, that's the funny thing. This is the paradox of our society, or the irony, is that everyone is taught, and this is so frustrating. Everyone is taught to only respect things that are mass produced. Anything that's custom is, well, that's garbage, unless you've got a degree. Then your custom stuff is custom and it's like more expensive. But if you're just a person with no degree, then anything you make yourself is just, oh, it's just homemade. Or it's not custom.
Or even on that, like on that front is like, for instance, I used to run an Etsy shop when we lived in Vermont. And I really struggled with putting things that I had made on it because I had this standard where if it was not like perfectly straight lines or perfectly cut, you know, it had to look like it had come out of a factory thing but then I realized now is that people want that. They want things that look a little different from
some people do.
Right, not everybody.
Right. The people shopping there, they want that
something
stuff,
that has a little bit, like it makes it unique. So they can like, I have the only one that, you know, has this cut.
Yeah.
Why do we like?
I actually remember how I got over this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so why does society get that way though?
It's because we're taught that way. No, this is so simple. It's the same thing it's the same answer to like so many questions. It's just money. Like we're taught to want the things that are made by the factories.
So we'll spend our money and be.
So we'll spend our money to the people at the factories, and that's the people pushing the message. Is the people making money, kind of always pushing people to. Okay, so you watch a television commercial. It's just showing you the brands like this is the best. Anything else is crap, Right. And then if you're wearing something, my shirt has no tag at all, so that means it's crap. Yeah, it's not Nike or Adidas or whatever. It's just right. Because like you're never going to see an advertisement saying
make your own shirt.
Make your own shirt. Yeah.
Maybe we should start making advertisements like that.
Make your own shirt. Yeah, I'm gonna tell the stupid story.
You should get a shirt that says that.
No, I'm gonna tell the stupid story of how I got over this.
Yeah.
So I used to make my own clothes, and originally I would only make them like work clothes, like clothes I was going to use while I was building things. Like I made myself a welding jacket, and I was like, no one's going to see me while I'm welding or anything, like that kind of stuff, or like exercise stuff where I'd go out and run and I'd wear it, whatever. But then when I was at university, I was like, this is stupid. I know how to make my clothes. I should just make my clothes. So I made this pair of pants, and they had a pocket on the side that you could see from the outside, because you know how usually in pants the pocket is just like a kind of like a bag, a bag hanging inside the pants, and it's only sewed around the hole. But I sewed my pocket like into the leg of my pants so you could see the pocket from outside, and I was like, well, that's weird. Someone's gonna say something about that. And I was like, screw it! I need to get over this stupid thing. So I put them on, and I went to track practice with them on, and the second I got there, my throwing coach said, yeah, nice pocket. Would you make those yourself? And I just ignored him and was like, all right, let's go throw some javelin, idiot. Let's do our stuff. And at that point I was like, what? That didn't really do anything. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, I've got more important things to do than defend my pocket. Like, if this idiot wants to spend all day like talking about my pocket, he can waste his time. So anyway, that's how I got over the clothes thing anyway.
Well, I wanted to point out some other things that some people were saying. So somebody just said, Maowl Magazine says, I've noticed that I procrastinate when my list is full of stuff that other people want me to do. So I get rid of procrastination by removing other people's stuff from my to-do list.
Yeah, same, totally.
But
yeah.
here's the question. So like when people are on a team, for example, and you're working towards a common goal, and there are some things on that list that maybe you don't necessarily want to do.
No, but this,
So, like,
if
how
it's,
do you-
is it things that will work toward the goal, or is it things that don't matter?
Well, if like, I mean, I don't know. Like,
Because if it's like, if I'm working on a team and someone on my team wants me to do something that I think is not going to get us to the goal at all, I think it's just a waste of time, then I don't want to do it.
Right.
You know. But if there's something that I think is actually going to get us to the goal. So I think it still applies, even if you're on a team. Like if you're on a team working toward a goal, but if you're on a team working toward a goal and you don't really care about the goal, then all the stuff ends up being just stuff other people want you to do because you don't care about the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's the worst. And the worst is when there are people you care about and you don't want to let them down. You don't want to disappoint them. So you don't want to take the thing off the list.
Outside.
Yeah, go beat up your kids. Okay, right now downstairs, my 1-year-old is attacking the 11-year-old and bit her apparently. I don't know what they're doing. Oh. Anyway. All right, I'm going to be in charge of looking at questions now. Tomatoes is a factory reject. Yes, factory rejects are the best. Yes, this Najkin says, I think handcraft made are valued higher nowadays, though. Yeah, people are starting to kind of come back to the idea that, handmade things are better. Although there's still, it's a lot better than as a kid, but we still have some ways to go because now if something is handcrafted by like a professional or someone with a degree or someone who's doing it as a job, then it's good. But if it's someone who doesn't have some kind of official position as the thing, it often still gets looked down upon. Although I think with the internet and just individuals having a lot more say in what happens, like YouTube, for example, I think things are getting a lot better in terms of that stuff, because people are becoming more accepting of individuals as we see more individuals doing stuff. Because you go on YouTube, it's not all companies doing stuff. You actually get to see what individual people think. Okay, someone says something about philosophy stuff. Oh, this guy really likes the design of the mug, the philosophy stuff. The little related color bits at the bottom indicating those ideas on that mug are awesome. It is my new favorite mug. Oh, that's great. So when I designed, a few weeks ago, I think it was Tomatoes actually asked for an adventure builder mug design that he could buy a mug online. And the link for that is in the subject, right?
Yep.
Oh, the subject?
No, description.
Description. The link for that's in the description. So if you want to buy one of these adventure builder mugs, it's down there. And
commercial for it.
There's also a commercial for it, apparently. Dashaina made a commercial. But when I was designing the mug, it was requested to like have, the adventure builder symbol. But that's kind of wide, and the mug is kind of tall, like the space where you can print out. And I was like, I should take advantage of that space above and below. But I didn't want to like put a bunch of garbage that people didn't want. So I made like a black band at the top and a black band at the bottom. So when you look at the mug a little bit far away, you'd see the adventure builder symbol, this thing, just with a line at the top and the bottom, kind of like underlined and kind of like outlining it almost. But then if you look closer, in the black band at the top, it says the Adventure Builders Club. Maybe. I think it says the Adventure Builders Club at the top. I should do it this way. And then in the bottom line, it has all the different virtues with their colors and their symbol and their name. So it's got love and imagination and honor and all the stuff. But you only see that if you look close. So I'm glad that worked out well, because I knew if I put like a whole bunch of stuff that was that you'd see from far away, people would be like, it's too congested. So hopefully everyone liked that. My excuse to not do something is that I'm trying to think of a better solution. Everlanders, yes, that's a big one. And whenever I get to that and I start thinking, oh, I shouldn't do something, you know what? Okay, this one used to always come up in terms of making something out of scrap. And I'd always have a scrap pile with some really nice pieces of, like, stainless steel or aluminum or some really nice parts, or a really nice motor that I didn't want to waste. But I found years ago that stuff would just sit there for years and I would never end up using it because I would never find the perfect use for it. And I realized, no, I just have to come up with something good and make it. Otherwise I'll be sitting here forever, trying to figure out the perfect thing. And yeah, in terms of any time you try to do something, it's so easy to get stuck in that loop of like, well, I could do it like this, but I could probably come up with something better. And well, if I got these parts, and you can just get stuck in this, I can always do it better, and I can always do it better. So I don't know if there's a perfect solution for that even, which there obviously isn't. But for me, I just try to find good solutions to everything, and then go for it and do it, and not just try not to get stuck in that loop. But I bet there's times when I get stuck in that loop. You know where I'm stuck in that loop? A little bit is with the kid's car. Because I started making this kid's car, and it's amazing. It's got a stainless steel car frame. It's got these big 4 wheels. The steering is basically done, but then on the drive system, I'm thinking about like putting a motor and pedals and having them work together at the same time, so you can have the motor and the pedals going. Oh, we've got a siren on. I hope no one minds. No, it's fine. Just pile a couple pillows behind it. And yeah, excuse the fan. It's blowing on the baby to make her go to sleep. And I want to say something about that in a second. But anyway, on this kid's car, yeah, I've got so many ideas of what I can do, and I think at some point I'm just gonna have to pick one and do it, obviously. Although I do have a whole bunch of other things I need to do before it. So I can just spend this time dreaming about the most amazing kid car in the universe. But then when I actually get to the point where I do it, I just have to pick something to do it. Okay, so right now there's a fan on, and some people don't like that. Or, sometimes there are kids who come by, my kids here, or you can hear them in the background and stuff. And some people complain about that. Some people don't complain about that and are totally cool. And a lot of those people have kids of their own and are like, yeah, I like hearing about your family and all the what goes on behind the scenes and everything. And that is kind of what this whole live video thing is about. Because when I make videos, I'm usually not showing all of my life. I'm just showing a project or a building or whatever I'm working on. But to me, kind of the point of doing this live thing is actually to show behind the scenes and the craziness that sometimes goes on. Because if I'm this happens a lot. I'll be making a video, and a naked kid will run right in front of the camera, and I'm like, So I have to stop it, erase that, make sure I actually erase it from the camera so I don't accidentally slip it into a video, and then start it again. Or suddenly a kid will start screaming just because Darth Vader's shown up and he needs to be destroyed or something. So anyway, that stuff comes out in the live, like while I'm doing this. And I actually don't have a problem with it at all. And I appreciate everyone who gets that this is, the behind the scenes and all that stuff is supposed to be here. All right, I'm not doing a very good job of...
Do you want to give me the chat?
Oh, you want to take the thing? Hold on.
You might have to throw it.
Oh, I just totally dropped the tablet.
Good job.
Well, it landed on something soft. It just bounced off. All right, Slave, what are my questions? Give me a question.
Apparently
I'm sorry.
I offended a person
by saying
I referred to my volunteers jokingly, asking them first if it was okay. But I apparently offended somebody by calling people slaves.
Oh,
They said that if I ever called them a slave, that they would stop doing work for me immediately. And I was like,
okay. I don't know if anyone just heard that, but someone on someone got upset that Dashaina was calling her like a workaway or a woofer, a volunteer. She was calling one of the volunteers a slave, and they said, if you ever called me a slave, I would stop working for you. But it's just a joke, and you gotta relax. And the person okay, so in this example right now, I'm calling Dashaina my slave. She's voluntarily helping me with this. She's obviously not my slave. It's an ironic thing to say, and she's totally aware that I'm joking.
Somebody would like to know if there is a possible way to MacGyver build a solar charge controller or voltage converter, for example, like super solid state, like your Frankenstein switches.
Oh, okay. So the question is there a way?
You can't hear me apparently.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to repeat.
Well, no, they just said that.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to say.
No, but they said that.
Oh, God. You can hear what Dashaina is saying right now, but she is being a bad slave. Bad slave. Oh, now she's flipping me off. All right. So the question is there a way to make some kind of super robust charge controller? Did they say also inverter or anything like that?
It says a
solar charge controller. Or voltage converter. Okay, so that kind of thing, and they
super solid state.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they gave the example of like the Frankenstein switches. So on all my boats, I make these switches with copper pipes, and they're all like, like in science class in like 1980, when you'd have like little electronic experiments, and they had these big switches where you'd be like, so I make them basically like that. It's like big copper pipe and like a piece of copper thing here, and it's just like just a big switch that won't break, and it can get salt water splashed all over it, and I'll just rinse it off. Like really robust things that aren't going to break. So is there a way to make a charge controller that's really robust like that? And the other one I always think of is an inverter. And the other example he was asking about is a voltage converter. And man, I don't know. If someone has got something that they know of to get around the delicate electronics for that kind of stuff, that would be great. Because when I make these big robust switches with the copper, I'm giving up speed control with electronic speed control stuff. But I will happily give that up for something that's not going to break. And the way I do speed control on my boat is I just run my motors directly from the solar panels, and I'll have different switches for different amounts of solar panels. So I'll like attach one solar panel, or no, they're connected in pairs. So I'll connect 2 solar panels, and then another 2, and then another 2, and then full speed. So I get speed control that way. Although on one of my boats, there's just one switch. It's just like on full speed or off. But it's so nice having something that's not gonna break. And the only solution I've come up with for a charge controller is just to pay attention. So have the solar panels connected directly to the battery with a disconnect switch, and then have a voltage, like a voltmeter. It's like you can get a fairly robust voltmeter that won't break. And I've done this before when I had a charge controller break on me, and I ended up for like 6 months, I was just disconnecting it and connecting it manually instead of getting a new charge controller. Because a week went by of just paying attention to it, and then I was like, I'm kind of used to this now. I'll just disconnect it and reconnect it whenever I notice the voltage is getting high or low or whatever. And I just really liked not having the electronics. But in terms of something that will just do a good job on its own of controlling the voltage into the batteries, that's robust, man, I don't know. Someone must have made something, even like with semiconductors that are just oversized or something, but I don't know. And I really want to figure out a way to make an inverter that just is like indestructible, won't break.
Apparently,
I have a question here.
Apparently
T. Mike.
A beehive with his nephew as an adventure builder project.
He built a beehive with his nephew as an adventure builder project. That is awesome.
Courage was needed when we moved the bees from a closet in an RV to the new hive.
And courage was needed when they moved the bees. That is true. Yeah. If you're in a situation like that when you're moving some bees, totally feel free to what is the word? To invoke some adventure builder virtues and say, we're going to need courage. You know what I used to do? Actually, I shouldn't say I used to do. I still do this. If I'm doing something where I feel like I'm going to need more of an adventure builder skill than I currently have, or maybe I just feel like I'm going to need a lot, I'll make something with that virtue on it. So a while ago, I was trying to come up with an idea for something, and I was like, boy, this is going to be hard to figure out. And I don't even remember what the thing was, but I remember thinking, this is going to be a tough to figure out. I'm really going to need imagination. I found myself a green shirt, and I painted an adventure builder symbol on the front, just like this. And then on the back, I painted the imagination adventure builder symbol with the stars. And then I put that shirt on, and well, it helped me. It inspired me to have more imagination. And I have a red shirt with the adventure builder symbol for strength on the back. Man, that shirt is totaled, because whenever I do something where I'm really going to need a lot of strength, I'll put that on and be like, now I'm extra strengthalized. Car Canyon, my son has a adventure builder red shirt, a red strength shirt.
Okay, so
Lindsay
apparently says your cousin Allison Mansell is my very, very best friend. We are so inspired.
Oh, no way.
We are so inspired by you, Jaimie. Allison is one of the coolest women I know, so I see it runs in the family.
So this person knows one of my cousins and is good friends. Yeah, Allison is awesome. She's totally cool. So that piece of my family is like the edge of my family that I got along with most. Those guys. Yeah, and her dad is super cool. I mean, my dad's cool too and everything, but her dad is like more kind of like off grid. And like when I built a lumber mill, he was super interested in it.
Which uncle is that?
Well, I don't know if I should talk about my family on here, but I have, out of all my family, I have one uncle who was like really, really interested in like all the stuff I was building when I was doing it. And he also was really into building things.
Barkscore1 wants to know if you've heard of Secrete. You make a wide frame.
Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, this is the Secrete question. Isn't there? There's another name for it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Secrete. So there's this thing where you can take a metal object, put it in seawater, and have it connected to electricity. So you have it, I can't remember if it's the positive or the negative. But anyway, you connect either the positive or negative to one object, and then connect the opposite to like a chunk of lead or some other object that's gonna maybe disintegrate. And then when you have some electricity going into these objects, like a pretty low voltage, not a ton of electricity, your metal object will start attracting minerals out of the ocean and kind of form this crusty shell, like a seashell. And theoretically, like you can grow a seashell. Like you could take a piece of steel mesh, put it in the ocean, connect the electricity to it, and then over time it will grow into this solid, like really strong thing. Now, I knew about this years ago, and I've done some experiments, and I know some other people who've tried it around here. I don't know if the seawater isn't good in this area. Like we're in the Caribbean, kind of tucked up in the Gulf of Mexico kind of area, like south of that though, like Central America. But I don't know if the seawater doesn't have the right minerals or something, but none of the people I've spoken to in Central America on the Caribbean side have had any success with it. Like, you know, I got it to grow a little bit of stuff, but then it would kind of stop quickly, and then, I don't know. I never got it to grow really well. But theoretically, it could be a really amazing thing. Although, the funny thing is, I don't know of anyone who is like creating sea buildings out of this stuff, which would be the thing to do, you know, like make a mesh in the shape of some amazing underwater house thing, put the electricity on it, and turn it into this giant maybe dome house-shaped shell, and then you could pull it out of the water and then make, it's a house, like an incredibly strong, super thing. But I don't know of anyone who's actually done it successfully. So maybe this doesn't work as well as it does, like, theoretically, I don't know.
Are you allowed to just dredge soil from waterways, or do you know anything about that?
Am I allowed to dredge water or soil out of the bottom of waterways? I don't know exactly what the rules are, but like, if I have a canal and it's, it's kind of getting congested with muck, I'll jump in there with a bucket and dump them out. I don't know if I'm allowed to do it, but like an existing waterway, if it's getting kind of clogged up, yeah, I'll move stuff out of the way. I think that's fine. I think you're supposed to get permission if you're actually making a new waterway.
Right.
But I think you're okay scooping out sediment and stuff.
Said thank you for answering their question earlier about
procrastination. You're welcome for answering your question about procrastination.
And he says, I always procrastinate paying my taxes, which are still unpaid this year, but I never procrastinate my own art. How do you feel about
He procrastinates paying his own taxes. Dude, I totally get it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
So somebody else.
But he says he never procrastinates on his art. Yeah, I'm with you there, man.
So there's some comments about like how.
That's actually one of the ways you can know what you really care about. Like, look at your list of stuff and figure out what you're not procrastinating on. There's a good chance it's something you really care about. Unless it's like just eating ice cream, then that doesn't count, because that's just a momentary. What's it called? What's that thing called that everyone does that I've forgotten about? Not everyone. That's so popular in the world. Instant gratification. Yeah, if it's an instant gratification thing, that doesn't count. Okay, what were you saying?
Oh, move over.
You just pulverized that kid. Look, she's knocked out. I kind of want to aim the camera over there. I'm not gonna. But she's so adorable.
She's so cute.
She's passed out, a little 1-year-old, just like in her little cocoon of fullness. Oh, great.
You always say that I don't sit close enough to you.
You're in my comfort zone.
You don't have a comfort zone. Look, it's like we're molded together.
I've got a cushion of protection around.
That's why I always sit over here.
I'm just kidding. Okay, what's up? Hey, what do you got on your tablet there? What's this question here?
Tomato says, use this to fix your stuff.
He just sent me, what, $20?
Yeah, I sent you $20.
Nice.
Just to fix your stuff,
I'm going to
buddy.
fix my stuff.
How are taxes?
Did he call me buddy?
No.
Oh, you're saying
I'm
buddy.
saying it. It says use, but then he put all these laughing faces with tears.
Wait.
So, what?
What's wrong with my stuff?
You need to fix your stuff.
My stuff needs to be fixed?
Yeah, it needs to be fixed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that lady said I was handsome.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah. Tomatoes also says he really likes his mug.
Nice.
So.
It's funny. I don't have any of these mugs or shirts or anything. I should get one.
You should get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I just make my own shirts.
And your own mugs.
And yeah, I haven't done a mug in a long time though.
Yeah. Because you have that monster one still that I won for you.
Yeah, you won me a monster mug, but the handle's cracked because somebody dropped it like 3 times on the concrete floor. Not saying it's you.
It survived being dropped. I never touch your cup if I can avoid it. So somebody wants to know, how are taxes in Panama?
A lot better than the United States or Canada or England.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we pay sales tax on things.
Oh yeah, we do pay on not food.
On not food things.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine it's already incorporated into the transportation costs with the one taxi that I cater.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they have. You're paying tax on like a lot of stuff. That's just like, it's just in the price.
Somebody said,
dude, I'm so glad we don't have like, oh yeah, anyway, like what, taxes, god, dude, taxes. Dude, I'm gonna get arrested for like, no, I'm not gonna get arrested. There's just gonna be some missile that comes out of the sky and lands on me from, the CIA just destroying me for saying I don't like taxes.
Well, I
on
have
the
a friend
internet.
now who's the U.S. Marshal, so he might show up.
He's gonna show up and be like,
arrest you.
Stop trash talking the taxes, man. Ooh, taxes are amazing. I just love them. I wish I could pay more taxes. I wish. Oh my god. So we could like be we gotta fix up those slave camp fences and things that keep me in here.
Okay, so somebody followed with that. Is it hard to do taxes compared to the U.S.? We literally we don't have taxes.
Okay, in Panama, you don't pay taxes if you have external income. So if I have a restaurant or a store or a hotel or whatever here, then I have to pay taxes on that. But any foreign income, I don't pay taxes on.
Right.
So unless I start doing something specifically here, then we're good.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if your property value is under a certain amount, there's no taxes on that either.
And there's no land tax on properties that are below a certain amount, and
I
we're good.
What the number is, but all of our properties are under that. So.
Yeah, I remember what it was like 8 years ago, but I don't know. I'm sure it's changed.
Somebody else just said taxes are all voluntary.
They should be.
With guns.
See, no, I think that would actually. No, I think that would fix a lot of things. If taxes were voluntary, that would fix so many things. But they're not voluntary. You get thrown in jail if you don't pay your taxes, which is not the way it's supposed to be. Don't even get me started on what's wrong. The system is totally.
So there's now this thing is finally showing me stuff. Have you dated any Latin date prospects since moving there? Terry Zabon wants to know.
Terry Zabon?
Zabon.
Is she Latin?
Why, it could be
a guy. Looking for...
I don't know. It could be a guy.
Oh, it could be a guy. Well, if it's a guy, I'm not interested.
Well, it's
anyway.
Questions for both of them, but I'm just going to let you answer that question. Have you dated any Latinas since we moved here?
No.
Have you dated anybody?
Well, there was like one girl I was talking to for a little bit. We met a couple times, and maybe you could call it a date, but...
Was it the girl you had pizza with? Or there's somebody you went to lunch with a couple times, I thought.
Yeah, but it ended up not going. Yeah. She wasn't Latina. She was from Europe.
Yeah. Okay, so this question is... Wait, it says question, but there's no question. So just
now I'm trying to think, like, what... Since I've moved here, I've been so busy, like, doing things. It's like... It's just like now in the last... Since I moved into my house, I feel like I can talk to people. Like, I can actually, like, have a social life a little bit.
Apparently, Gerald says that the land tax is on property over $120,000, so I think we're good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wow.
That sounds really high.
I know that's...
So you only have to pay in Panama. You only have to...
in Panama? Because I thought it was lower than that.
I thought it was lower than that.
I thought it was like 40 or something.
So anyway, he was saying that somewhere...
Mao would rather send you money than pay his taxes, so he just sent you some.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That was nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I would rather burn the money than pay taxes, actually.
Yeah.
Because I do not trust those people. Man, they are doing all the wrong stuff.
I would also rather give my money to, like, to give my money to somebody I see doing the right thing, or talking about something that made sense, or somehow. Okay,
you know what would happen in the United States if either taxes were voluntary or you could decide where your taxes
Can I pause
go.
You for a minute? I think that would apply anywhere. I don't think it'd just be the U.S.
Well, what I'm going to talk about is specifically a U.S. thing.
Okay.
Yes. In the United States, and there are relevant things in different countries, but NASA. I was going to talk about NASA, which is in the United States. If you could decide where your tax money went, like 90% of the taxes wouldn't go to the military anymore. And like NASA gets something like 1% of the taxes or something, even less. I don't know. I mean, they would get so much more. Can you imagine how much money NASA would get if people could decide where their taxes were going?
Well, yeah. I mean, look what Elon did.
Yeah.
All of his money goes.
Yeah, and that could, any country. If you could decide where your taxes go in any country, just imagine the police who harass you. You'd be like, I don't want to send them any money anymore. And pretty much instantly, the police department would be so underfunded, they'd be like, oh my gosh, okay, police, you need to start being nice to the people.
Well,
Fix like that. No more police harassment.
Reward the police that are doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The teachers that are doing the right thing, and the politicians that are doing, I think it applies to all of those public service places.
Yeah, right now, with so many police officers, they're incentivized to harass people. Like they have quotas, they're supposed to get a certain amount of fines.
Yeah.
Like they're
Being a police detective, and he was saying that they get now they get such a bad rap, even the good ones, because there's so many bad ones that are like spoiling, it. And
well, and just the thing about
it's difficult to be good in the society that we live in now, because you're rewarded for being
if you're a police officer and you have a quota to hand out this many speeding tickets, and not enough people are speeding, you have to start looking for people to meet your quota. Well, you are required to harass people, or else you get fired.
And I think
it's ridiculous.
On the other side of that, I think with teachers, for example, and right now what they're having to do, instead of actually teaching children or encouraging learning, they're having to teach children to jump through hoops and pass tests in order for their school to be funded.
It's so annoying.
And if people were able to choose where their taxes went, they would choose to fund the schools that were doing the right thing for children.
Yeah, or people could get together and say, okay, this is say you're in a neighborhood of people and they actually get along with each other, which doesn't happen anymore. But say you're friends with all your neighbors, you get together and say, all right, between all of us, we're going to pump $240,000 into this school that sucks this year. You know what we could do with that? We can make our own school.
Yeah.
And they could just say, forget the system, we're doing our own thing. But unfortunately, taxes are not voluntary. You get in big trouble for not paying them.
So Terry Saban has also apparently suggested growing black-eyed peas before it, which I completely forgot about.
Oh, I thought he was going to...
beans. And he wants to know if you had tried it or not, because they're super fast. But I think you should talk about the beans that you are growing.
Wait. Which beans?
Well, he was talking about growing black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas.
I thought I had.
Well, I'll have to go get some.
So
I'll get some next time I go to the store. Black-eyed peas. So those are supposed to be really good.
He says they're easy to grow and fast, and I think that should open the conversation about the beans you are growing.
The beans. So I've planted anytime I have some beans, I'll go out and plant a few. And the what are they? What are the red beans? Just red beans?
I think they're just
kidney beans. Okay, so red kidney beans.
Tiny ones.
No.
Okay.
Red kidney beans are pretty big, so I was like, ooh, if I plant these, maybe I'll get... Oh, man, they're doing terrible. I've gotten
Yeah, I could never get those.
I got a few little beans, but... I mean, they were some decent-sized beans, actually, but hardly any. And I've planted a few different kinds, but the beans that are growing like crazy are here, they're called breakfast beans.
Or they're also called...
They're like little brown beans. And I planted them...
I think. No, that was different.
I planted them out in front of my house. And it's just like this giant viney bush.
There's so many.
I stuck a few sticks in the ground, and they're climbing up those, and those are practically breaking off, and they're just climbing up everything and just making all these pods about that big, and just lots of beans. They're little beans, but man, it makes so many of them, and they're easy to get out too, because I don't know when I'm supposed to harvest them, but I wait till the pod is dried out on the plant and then pull it off, and then you just grab the ends and bloop.
So what I understand,
and it pries it apart and they all fall out.
About harvesting beans, is that if you plan to cook them, not eat them raw, which you can do with some varieties.
Yeah, right.
You want to wait till they turn brown, but if you're gonna eat them like you would green beans or sugar snap peas or whatever, you pick them green.
Well, yeah. Okay, so I should wait till they're... Should I wait till they're...
I don't know on those, so I think we should look it up.
No, you need to cook them.
Well, have you tried to eat them not cooked?
They...
don't taste good?
I don't think those are...
Well, I'm wondering.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. And anyway, what you're doing is right.
They dry out pretty quick. It's not like a green bean that stays green for a while. These...
they're white when I've seen them. Those are the ones that are kind of whitish before they go brown, right?
Sorry, I was just waiting to see if I could say. They turn brown pretty quick. They get big, then turn yellow and turn brown.
Okay, so somebody else says that I think civil forfeiture is the worst incentive for police. And then somebody else says police is a standing army. They exist to enforce moral law. They exist to enforce immoral law.
Yeah.
Moral law is theft, murder, rape, etc., and requires zero enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, enforcement can be used for that stuff, but people will take care of that themselves if you just let them.
Andrew Ray says, in regards to the beans not growing, says that's because the slugs and snails are eating them when they are small.
Oh, no, I don't have slugs or snails over there. It's just, I don't know. I think it's the soil or something.
Yeah, they're just not
Like
getting
the
great
the
nutrients.
plants were there, the leaves were on them, they grew like to this big and just stopped. And they sat there for like,
Do you think anything's affecting the roots?
I don't know. I don't know if
Interesting.
it's the soil or, but the leaves were still there. Like nothing was eating the leaves. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is.
Apparently, Terry Zabone has eaten queen termites. Have you done that yet?
I have not eaten
It
any
says they're
termites.
Yum, great protein.
Not on purpose, at least.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know how I feel about that. Question: at the risk of alienating your more prepper viewers, what are your thoughts on gun control stateside and the fact that it falls to the schools to teach the kids to hide versus controlling guns? Or do you want to talk about that?
Wait, it teaches the kids to hide if someone with a gun shows up?
See, I don't know anything about the gun laws.
I don't really know
so
anything
I don't know
about
that
it
I
either.
could comment on this at all.
Personally, I think everyone should have a gun.
Yeah.
So that's not going to alienate the preppers, I don't think.
Do you think there should be an age restriction on that?
Oh, jeez.
I know.
Well, I think responsible parents is what we need.
Right.
Of course, not everyone is a responsible parent. So, like, I mean, there should be gun-free zones. Like, if your students should not take guns to school. Like, I totally understand that. Makes total sense. But then the school is responsible for protecting the kids. So if like every teacher has a gun, I would not be opposed to that. Okay. Of course, that would be, I mean, oh man, you wouldn't want the teachers to have a gun. Like I've had some terrible teachers. But I don't know, it starts getting kind of complicated. But in general, I think there's too much gun control. Okay, here's the big problem with gun control. If you make a law that says people can't have guns, who is going to obey that law and who's going to ignore it? The law-abiding people, the people not trying not to cause trouble, they're probably going to say, oh, fine, I won't have this kind of gun, or I won't have any gun or whatever. The people who are just going to completely ignore it are the criminals, because they're breaking the law anyway. They don't care about the law. So all you do I shouldn't say all you do, there are other consequences, but one of the major things you do when you have a gun control law is you make sure the criminals have way more guns than anyone else. But if like everyone has, like put yourself in the shoes of a criminal who wants to shoot people, you know, or like hold people up with a gun or murder people, or so they want to use their gun for bad business. If you are in a place where you know people don't have guns, you're just like, I can go anywhere and just put my gun around and make people do whatever I want. But if you're in a place where like there's like a 60% chance that any individual person in here has a gun, you're gonna think twice about waving your gun around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else said schools are gun-free zones, advertising that there is nobody armed to take care of armed people who simply don't care about the school being gun-free.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That was a little...
It's okay. It might be easier to just read it.
Schools are gun-free zones, yeah. Advertising. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I think schools shouldn't be necessarily a totally gun-free zone. I think there should be someone there,
right, somebody
with a gun,
responsible.
like responsible people. And then of course gun control also brings up the idea that there are crazy people in the world, and you got to kind of keep the guns out of crazy people's hands.
So like, how do you determine that?
Well, my first thought would be to just wait and see what happens. Of course, I don't know, with all this stuff, it's like going from what we have right now to no laws is too big a jump. Like so many things would fall apart instantly that are just being completely regulated by laws. But I think in general, people who are crazy, who want to cause these problems, they should end up in jail. But now there are so many laws to protect people who are causing problems. Like if someone breaks into my house and I punch them, I could be arrested for assault. Like it's, or maybe it's not in my house. Maybe it's, maybe if someone comes onto my property and I punch them, then I go to jail. But if they come into my house and I punch them, then I'm okay. But there are so many rules and laws to protect people who are doing bad things, and we need to get rid of those. So then those people wouldn't be out free to be able to get a gun in the first place.
I think this commenter brings up a good point. Bear 8 photo. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
They say no human is fit to decide who is insane or sane.
Yeah.
And so,
Well,
there's kind of truth to that.
Yeah, but at some point you have to say, okay, I've got some children here,
Right.
and there are some people here who are going to be around my child. Which of them is dangerous?
Right.
And then you have to say, okay, this person, whether or not we're calling them insane or crazy or whatever, this person is dangerous to my family.
Right. But I think as human beings, we naturally, if we actually listen to our...
So maybe
intuition.
insane is the wrong word, but a dangerous person. But then the difficulty is the government gets a hold of that word, and they're like with the whole terrorist thing. Anyone the government doesn't like, you're a terrorist. I'm a terrorist. I'm sure if I went back to the United States, they'd be like, oh, I don't know.
So Darth Vader, for example, would you say that he was an evil or tenaciously ambitious?
This brings up an interesting point. So I'm just going to have to run with this for a minute. So you're just going to have to bear with me. So at the beginning, I'm just going to talk about episode 1 to 6 of Star Wars, because after that, oh man, the wheels really fell off. And I know there are some problems with episode 1, 2, and 3, but there's a lot of good things about it too. So you have to just ignore the
amazing animation.
I'm not going to get into what the problems were. No, but the story was basically, the Jedi, what's his name, Qui-Gon Jinn found this little kid who was super into the Force. He had lots of Force. Yeah. He had. I don't need to get into the details of the midi-chlorians and whatever. But anyway, he had so much Force, and this was Anakin Skywalker, the Darth Vader, when he was a kid, and the prophecy was that this kid who was so strong with the Force would bring balance to the Force. And then by episode 3, he'd kind of become best buddies with the guy who would end up becoming the evil emperor. And so he was considered evil too. And Obi-Wan Kenobi said, "You were supposed to bring balance to the Force, not tear it apart." So at that point, things were looking like the prophecy did not work at all. But then you get 3 more episodes later, and who killed the Emperor? It was Darth Vader. And apparently he had to go through all this crap to get to be in the position that he could kill this Emperor and bring balance back to the Force.
Done.
Yeah. But he basically had to become so evil himself that the Emperor trusted him enough to let Darth Vader stand behind him so he could pick him up and throw him in the pit.
Yep.
Yeah. So he did fulfill the prophecy.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, there wasn't really any other way to do it.
There's no way you would have.
Because the Emperor was he was pretty strong with the Force. He would jump in the air and do a really goofy spin around thing with his magical Force powers. He was super strong. It's not
one with the Force.
It's not like you could just come up behind him and shoot him, because he'd be like, "Oh, I sense it coming," and shoot lightning by him. So to actually stop this Emperor, you had to have someone who became so evil that became his best bud, and he was like, "Yo, we're bros, what's up?" And he had to be so evil that he actually was evil like that. And then his son Luke had to come in, at the end and be like, "No, you're not evil, you're not evil." And then that tiny little spark of Darth Vader that was still good was like, "Oh wait, oh you're right, I'm not evil, haha." And then he died, and then
The end.
Yeah.
When you are breaking the law, you should lose all rights to anyone defending themselves. How do you feel about that?
When
a person is breaking the law, they should lose all rights to anyone that is defending themselves. Somebody breaks into your house, that's breaking the law. You defend your family, they should no longer
lose their
have
rights.
any legal
rights.
rights.
Yeah. That was a little bit confusing sentence, but yeah.
So.
Yeah, if someone is the aggressor and you defend yourself in any way, the law should be incredibly lenient to you.
Right.
And on that topic, I think the law should be incredibly aggressive toward anyone enforcing it. So police should have to live at a really high legal standard if they're enforcing the laws, which is not currently happening, which is one of the many problems. Like police go around breaking the laws all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody would like to know, are Chewbacca and Bigfoot related?
Well, yeah, man,
Like
of course.
like cousins?
No, it's just, so Star Wars all happened in a galaxy far, far away a long, long time ago. Well, at some point during that period, an ejection pod was ejected with a Wookiee in it. And this was like millions of years ago. Yeah, no, not millennia, like millions of years. This is a galaxy far away.
Right.
This wasn't like next door. This was a galaxy far, far away. So yeah, and it was just floating through space. And the Wookiee inside the pod, he was in stasis because he was like, I got to get in my escape pod and escape the exploding ship. I don't know when I'm going to land wherever, but let me put myself into cryo sleep. And he slept for millions of years and then happened to crash on Earth. And now there's a Wookiee running around on Earth.
And he met like a monkey. And
well, I'm thinking there were probably a few Wookiees in that escape pod, and they landed and had some babies, and so they've been around for a while.
With the natives a little bit. No.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's some. Yeah, maybe they're slowly going to blend in.
So here's another thing I want to tell you about. Your pigeon peas came up kind of in a topic here. It says there is a big bush called pigeon peas. It smells like peas, but it's different. We actually have that plant. I have it. Yeah, I need to. A friend of ours just gave it to us.
Yeah, I haven't planted it yet. It's sitting in my house, and I'm like, where can I plant this where it's going to do good? Because I really want it to be in a good spot.
They're very common in the Bahamas and West Indies for peas and rice. They produce every year. They're very tasty and a staple food.
Oh well, I need to plant them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there were 3 different plants in that thing, so I'm going to see if I can separate them and plant them in 3 different places.
So Cam Loren is doing a pro-gun check and would like to know any feelings on what kinds of guns people should own: automatic, semi, shotgun.
Okay, sawed-off
shotgun.
This might bother a few people, but I think that the government should not be able to have anything that a citizen can't have.
Yeah.
Like if the government can have a bazooka, I should be able to have a bazooka. That's what I think.
And is that in order to keep the government in check?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And I would say that across the board, the government should never have more power than any normal person. Because, the government has become this thing that regulates people's lives. But the original idea, the original intent was that they're supposed to help people. They're supposed to, keep things running smoothly, help people out. The police are supposed to protect people who might have difficulty protecting themselves.
Is that like doing all the administrative work, basically?
Sort of. Yeah, kind of.
Like, so what I do for your YouTube channel, basically.
Yeah, but if you got to the point where you were like, now I've got you scheduled to do this now, then you would be like the government.
Or when I'm like, you have to do these kinds of advertisements.
Yeah, but in general, I don't think the government should be able to do anything that a normal person can't do.
Right.
And I would want to completely restructure government so there's no one is basically God. Now like senators and presidents and all these people, they're basically they're so protected by all these laws and stuff. They could come up to you and punch you in the face. There's nothing you can do about it.
So do you think continuing on
someone's going to send me a story about someone who got punched by a senator on camera and they got him. Okay, that would be great.
So
anyway,
continuing on with the
Darth Vader?
Like with
guns
and that, should there be and governments being more of the administrative responsibility as opposed to the taking over everybody's lives responsibilities? Do you think that there should be some type of mandatory training in order to have a weapon like a gun?
See, all that stuff, I think no. I think I have to say no. Because the problem is, like, one step sounds good, but it never stops at one step. It's like, oh yeah, we should make sure anyone who buys a gun has some kind of training, blah, blah, blah. But that's just the beginning of gun control, where you can't have a gun anymore. Because it's like, okay, now we're regulating this much. Well, let's just regulate a little bit more, and a little bit more, a little bit more. And I don't think that's what the government should be doing.
Well, then it also causes...
I think that's what freaking parents should be doing. And this is the problem. Like, we've given up parental responsibilities and responsibilities to our friends even, or responsibilities to our own neighborhoods. We've given up our own responsibility to this government god thing that just is supposed to take care of all this stuff. And then we just give up responsibility for anything. And I think it's one of those things where it's easy to do that in the moment, but the longer it goes on, the worse the consequences get, which is why so many civilizations collapse after they get to a certain point. You know, the government just keeps getting more and more controlling until the whole thing explodes.
Well, so here's a thought experiment or what have you.
All right.
Like going back to the concept of anarchy versus
You got
government.
a thought excrement?
Okay.
I'm ready for it.
So like in this theoretical anarchist society, because
most people don't even know what the word anarchy means.
Maybe we should define that for them.
So an anarchist is someone who just doesn't want government control. They don't want to be ruled.
Right. Great.
But the government will tell you that an anarchist is someone who wants to go around shooting everyone all the time and killing everything and destroying everything. It's anarchy. No, but anarchy is just people not being ruled, basically.
So in an anarchist society,
yep.
Can you call it an anarchist society?
Yeah.
I guess you could.
Or a free society.
Do you feel that people, or would a natural consequence of not having rules make it so that people would innately create kind of their own moral guidelines in regards to guns specifically? So for example, I'm a gun shop owner, I sell guns to people. I feel that in order to buy a gun from my shop, like I would like you to at least show some competency in, or teaching you how to use the gun, and that's
well,
just
yeah,
because
if you sell a gun to someone,
I'm responsible
and
for
they go and shoot people with it or start robbing people, people are going to show up and be like, "What the?
Yeah.
Can you not sell guns
to like
2-year-olds?" Yeah,
right. So like, I mean, would they just? So the question
and the thing,
is,
and the other part of it is when people start taking responsibility for their own lives and their neighborhood and all that stuff. They know each other.
And they start to care more.
And people, see, this is like the little town I lived in for a while in Alaska. Like, it's not necessarily that everybody knew each other, but everyone knew who the problem people were.
Right. So basically the question is, does an anarchist society ultimately lead to people caring more about each other and creating a more, whatever the word is that goes there for the society, like the one that contentment.
I would say it a little bit differently. Like, yes, but that's starting from the point that that's starting from a governed society,
right? Which
I think is an unnatural state. So I would say a governed society makes people not care about each other.
Right.
So it's the other way around.
But that's the whole concept behind like capitalism anyway, isn't it? Where if you keep people divided amongst themselves.
I don't think that's capitalism. Capitalism is specifically like using money for stuff. And then you get into all kinds of funny definitions.
Sorry, I meant like
communism?
Communism and like consumeristic like culture, like, constantly consuming. The idea is that you want people buying, you want people consuming, you want people doing that, and in order to get people to do that,
somebody wants them to do it.
The government or whomever it is. And so in order
basically
to get people
the
to do
greedy
that,
people
they're
is what it is.
continuing to keep people divided by making laws and restrictions that continue to take the responsibility of their lives away from them.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And the more divided people are, the harder it is for them to do anything. So, and this is one of the really frustrating things to see, is like, if you have a neighbor who's being treated poorly by the law, most people will just say, "Oh, I don't know anything about them. I don't want to talk to them anymore. They're a bad person." Instead of being like, "Hey, what are you doing to my neighbor here?" Like I think this is such a pipe dream at this point. It's if police come into a neighborhood and start harassing someone, the whole neighborhood should come out and be like, "Okay, what's going on? Why are you harassing this guy? Is there a real reason, or are you just here to, with some bull crap about he didn't mow his lawn right or something, or you don't like the way he looks, or, like tell us what the real thing is.
So
And if there's a reasonable explanation, fine. You know?
right. So the other, coming back, because this seems to be a big topic in the chat room right now about
Gun
the
control.
gun control thing. So a couple people have said, like, so you have gun control and you take the guns away. Gasoline's readily available. Knives are readily available.
Yeah.
Like,
If I want to,
you can, if you are intent on on doing a crime or whatever, you will find a way, like, regardless. And I think, would you say that it boils down, like, the solution to that is not more control, but like what you're saying is people being more aware of all of the people within their neighborhood and being more connected with each other.
This goes back to what I was saying last week or the week before, how we have to get off a society of laws and get back onto a society of morality.
Yeah.
Because you can try to make a million laws to cover everything, but you can't cover everything.
There's always a loophole.
Yeah, but if you base things on morality and like basically, like if I say, all right, everybody, don't be a dick. Like, most people get what that means. And if they don't get it, people will tell them.
Right.
You know, like there's a general understanding of don't be a dick. Because that's a moral statement, not a law. Now, if I tried to make specific laws for every single way that you could be a dick, I mean, I could write the giantest book in the world, and it's not going to cover everything. There's always going to be something else that someone can do.
Right. So ultimately, you're saying is that, and I think this applies for what people should be doing, is that if it's in your core values, you will upstand them. Like, you will. Yeah. You know. And
the problem today is that most people have no core values because they've been replaced by laws and pressure and all this stuff.
Responsibility has been taken away from them.
So not my fault. I don't have to
responsibility for any of their choices or decisions anymore because they're trained to not be responsible for them.
Which also comes back to the procrastination thing.
Right. Or the not impeccable with your word.
Yeah, or not doing what you want to do with your life because it's harder. You're pressured to just get in line and do what you're told.
Right.
And it's easier in the moment to say, okay, I'll get in line. Don't yell at me. But the more you comply, the harder it is to ever get out again.
So somebody says, we don't need laws, we need respect and understanding.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right. But if we're divided as a society, we're easier to control.
Right, which is not what we want.
No.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Yep. Nope. Yep. Sesame Street.
Yes.
The aliens. They were. Oh, well, that was the best. Nope. I showed the kids that one time and they were laughing their heads off.
Okay, so I just want to end this with this last comment, and that is morality is subjective, though. Everyone feels
no,
I know.
It's
So
not.
let me just finish. Everyone feels genital mutilation is wrong, yet all of Western civilization do this to infant boys.
Not all of Western civilization.
But
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Yeah.
I have not been mutilated.
Okay,
and I'm very happy about it. And none of my kids are.
So what you're saying, this is important though,
Yeah.
is that this actually was a law. Like, the whole genital mutilation is part of a religious right into a society that is governed by laws. And if it was, we're talking about replacing laws and government. So government can be religious government doctrine. It can be, civil government doctrine. We're talking about like all types of government and laws. If you replace them with anarchy or free whatever society.
Just take it out. Replace it with morality.
Replace it with morality, and those things are moot points. Like, they don't.
Well, here's the thing: if you take away say you have some parents here, and they have some boys, and they're having
Everybody knew about the aliens, by the way.
Okay,
Okay, moving on.
Okay, say there are a bunch of parents there, and they just had some baby boys, and they're deciding whether or not to mutilate their penises, chop off the end of their penises, where there's the circumcision thing. If you tell them, yeah, I know, isn't that horrible? You're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. A lot of them are going to feel pressured to do what society wants them to do. But if you just tell them, it's your choice.
Right.
Well, then suddenly the parents are like, wait, why? It's my choice. No, I don't want the choice. But you say, no, it's your choice. It's your choice. You have the responsibility. You have to make a decision. But this is a big decision. This is my son.
Right.
Then they start actually thinking, oh, well, I actually have to make the decision that my son is going to have to live with for his entire life. And he's going to tell me about it one day. Thanks or no thanks, Well, so then people actually start caring about the decision they're making, as opposed to when there's a law and they're just like, well, I should just follow the law. It's not my fault. Not my fault.
Well, even
Sorry,
with
kid.
that, with this specific example, and like, I mean, aside from thinking way in the future, what is the child going to come back? You are going to have to hold the baby.
Okay, don't chop your penises off, please.
I mean, I'm just saying,
pieces of whatever.
like it doesn't, like, even not aside, like that's a very extreme situation, but like you are going to have to endure that child having the reaction to it.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like,
well, that's no.
Like,
this is
as a parent, I can feel like in my heart,
right?
Like, no, you will do anything you can to protect your child.
Well, this is when it comes down to the person taking responsibility or not.
Right.
If the person is holding their baby while they're getting the end of their penis chopped off, and they can just say to themselves, "Well, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's the law. Nothing I can do. Nothing I can do."
Right.
And that's how this is horrible, but no. It's for your own good. That's what people always say when they're trying to put the responsibility on somewhere. Oh, it's for your own good. The law is telling me to do it. But if you take that away, the people have to decide. The person's gonna have to sit there, watch someone come in with a snipper at their kid, and be like, they're much more likely to have a natural reaction of like, whoa, let's just think about this for a minute. What are we doing here? Maybe this isn't the right thing to do.
And like, to bring it into like a less extreme, parental choice, like ear piercing, for example. Like my daughter.
You just did the kids without asking me.
No, I asked them. I
know.
They were old enough to decide, is this what you would like to have? And they both, the two older ones, chose yes. Because I did not want to do that to them. Because I would
have given them the choice later. I think it's fine.
Okay.
But
I felt like they could make
I would have held it off till, I don't know, later.
They were like 30. 40.
Till they could at least say, like, I want to do that.
Well, Aurora totally was at that point, and Bellatrix was standing right next to her and wanted to also, so I wasn't going to say, no, you can't. But I think it's fine. I said to Aurora, and I'm just giving this as an example for other parents who might be in a similar situation, so let me just tell the short, very quick story. But the way that I came to the decision about asking them was, could she take care of this on her own? And if she could, and wanted to continue with this, like I explained to her, like what it might feel like, etc., like then she could go ahead and do that. And she actually stood there very stoically and was like,
I have something to say about the circumcision thing.
Oh God,
So when I was a kid, I mean, I'm not circumcised. Excuse me if this is getting a little too personal. But when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be. I'm embarrassed. It's different than a lot of the other kids. Dude, it is way better. So much better. That's all.
Well, okay.
Once I got past it's different than a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And then once I got to the point where I was actually using the thing, then it was like, oh, that's why it's like this. It makes total sense. Oh, you don't want to chop off the part, dude. It's functional. It's a functional part.
So like this also.
You don't want to throw it away.
Somebody mentioned this.
All right.
What I was saying.
I'm gonna let that go now.
About letting at least the way I do most parenting decisions with my children, if it's something that's going to cause any type of permanent alteration to their body.
Yeah.
It's like I wait until they're of the age to make the decision themselves. Like. Yeah. I would say almost every.
And it's funny because I would have done it later.
Right.
But I mean, it was fine.
And so I would say that, like, in terms of circumcision specifically.
Oh, don't. Yeah.
I would say to you, you know what? If you would like to do that, you're welcome to, but I'm not going to do that to them. Like, without, like, no. Hell, I wouldn't even cut my daughter's hair until she told me to.
I wouldn't even suggest it. I'd be like, why?
Suggest it. I'm just saying, like, if somebody came out to my son and was like, you're not circumcised, I mean, if he really wanted to go do that,
Dude,
like
he's not going to want to do that.
you know, like, what I mean, you know.
I mean,
like,
I'll
yeah,
give
no.
him. I'll give him the
I think
skinny on how much better it is.
Anyway, so let's see.
Because I have
Anything
friends who
else?
are, and they have problems that I've never had. And all the friends that I have who are not chopped up, they've never had the certain problems.
Somebody says,
So, anyway.
if government was only there to protect rights, it wouldn't fit the definition of government.
Yeah, they're governing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's funny that it's even called government. I wonder what it was originally called. Because it should just the term government. It's like, we're governing your actions.
Like a governess?
It should be more like servants. Like
Or secretary?
we're serving.
Secretarial services?
We're serving the people.
Girl
Like, that's what it
Friday?
should be. You should be serving the people when you're in that position.
Yeah. Well,
And-
they are called public servants.
Yeah, but they're also called the
Civil
government.
servants?
Right. Yeah, that's why they should just be called civil servants. Just leave it at that. You're my servant, you're basically my employee. If I'm a citizen and you are like a senator or something, like I'm
Employing
your
you.
boss.
Yeah.
Like, I'm paying
It's
you.
gotten
thing.
convoluted.
Oh, it's
that-
totally screwed
yeah.
up now. It's totally wrecked.
So, all right, Jaimie, how much
That's me.
is a patch of land or small island near you? I live on a floating home in BC, Canada, and want to come move to a place with warm winters.
Ah,
I don't
yeah.
have winter.
Yeah, it's just like this all the time.
It depends. If you want to send us an email, like if you're legitimately interested and you would like to send an email to us at theadventurebuildermovie@gmail.com, I'm happy to give you more details because I kind of have like an email that I cut and paste, which answers all those questions.
I
and
can't
I'd
give you
be
the
happy to share
general
with
gist
you.
though. Like,
Right.
if you just want to like look from afar and do things on the internet or with real estate agents or just talk to people like from far away,
You're gonna pay a fortune.
it's going to cost a fortune. If you come here, and I'm sure this applies to a lot of places, like if you come to the place and live here for a while, then meet people, you're going to, like, all this land is going to pop up that is not specifically for sale, but people would sell it to someone that they're happy
You're
with
friends with,
living
whatever.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's there are a lot of people like this probably happens anywhere in the world. You know, there are people who have land they don't really need, but they don't just want to put it out there for sale because who knows what's going to come. You know, they don't want some hotel popping up or some complete idiot, you know, showing up and getting this horrible neighbor, and it wasn't worth it. But if you live in a place for a little while and get to know people, then suddenly they're like, oh, you're cool. Yeah, well, there's this land I want to sell. And this is how it went for us.
Right.
Like, we'd been here for a while, we got to know people. Next thing we know, all these people start coming by. And they're like, well, you know, we know you were looking for land. You know, I've got this land here, and the price is like way lower than any real estate agent is going to show you anything. You know, are you interested? And that's how it worked for us. And that's how I would recommend to do it to anyone.
So yeah, Vlog City, that's who asked the question initially.
Vlog City.
Just send me an email and I'll be happy to talk to you further about it.
Yeah. And the amount of money you would save by doing that
it was significant.
is enough that you could like easily like rent a place for a year. I mean,
Right. So somebody asked if you have ever tried magnet fishing.
yeah, actually, a little
You can
bit.
Find chunks of things sometimes, stainless steel stuff, nails, old tools.
Yeah,
etc.
mostly I just magnet fish whenever I drop something in the water.
Forks, spoons.
However, occasionally,
Knife.
the thing is the ocean is so big. You know, I was thinking about dragging a magnet behind my boat, but I'm afraid it's going to get caught on some random thing and rip the thing out all the time. But I could make a thing, but I don't know. You know, I should like start doing that around town,
Yeah.
like closer to town
Oh yeah,
where
right
there's
on the docks, around the edges of.
yeah, or just anywhere where there's a lot more traffic, because
Yeah.
where we are, there's really not very much. However, I did find once just swimming around one of those, I don't know what they're called, but it's like they're on sailboats and it's like a thing about this big, stainless steel, and it's sort of like a big pulley, and you wrap ropes around it, and it's got a crank that goes around it like that. You know, those things. I found one of those just out in the water one time, and I found a few things here and there. I found a whole oven, but it was like What?
No, nothing. I'll say what I'm going to say in a minute.
With the oven, I swam down. It was in pretty deep water, so I didn't pull the whole thing out. I also didn't want the whole thing, but I swam down and pulled the window out of the front of the oven, the piece of tempered glass.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a cool find.
Yeah.
So Andrew Ray was talking about trees to plant, which we actually have most of these planted.
Yeah.
And Andrew, I want to tell you, Jaimie does actually have a tree video showing all the trees that he recently planted. It's coming up. It has not posted yet. And
but I don't know what all of them were.
Oh, you don't remember?
No, you might have to put that in the subject. If you know what all of them are.
Yeah,
I mean, I named the ones that I knew.
Right.
But there are a few that, I don't know.
I can tell
you were just like, this is something good, plant it.
I think out of the list that Andrew mentions, the only one we don't have, well, I'm just not sure if we have it or not, is grapefruit and guava. And we do have guava.
I do have some grapefruits growing.
Awesome.
But,
super excited about that.
Although I can't be 100% sure they're grapefruits because like...
Oh, and lychee. We don't have lychee yet either.
Oh, man. Yeah, we got to get some of those.
Yeah, I've been trying. Rambutan is the closest thing I can find.
And I want to get chestnuts.
Yeah.
I want to get those chestnuts.
Right. So,
when you were asking around people with plants, no one had a Malabar chestnut?
No, it was on my list.
All right.
So, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so most of those trees, custard apple, lychee, breadfruit,
avocado, custard apple, I'm excited about that.
Guava, and different mangoes. We have all of those except the two that I mentioned. Well, we have grapefruit, so we just don't have lychee.
Yeah.
And
but someone not too far away does have them.
Yeah, he has the rambutans. For sure.
Is that different? Well, there's like this. I would take either one.
I prefer the rambutans. I like them a lot. Anyway.
Rambutans are basically lychee nuts.
So, any sailboat construction in your future plans?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Well, I probably won't get it. Oh, no, maybe. The answer is maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have you thought about making a biogas digester?
Well, let me just say something about the sailboat thing.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
So, in terms of driving around here, just having a sailboat is a little tricky because, I've said this before, the winds are unpredictable and there's lots of like little channels you have to go through. So you might not necessarily be able to tack into the wind and stuff, but having a sail with something else is useful. So usually around here, people motor and then sail and motor, So I do want to build another boat using all the knowledge I've gained from building all the previous boats, and it'll be solar powered and pedal. And I was thinking I could also put a sail on that would be easy to deploy and retract. Okay, what are you saying?
Do you want to tell people an update on how your methane gas producer is going?
So I have a thing where all the, food kind of waste goes into it. It's this thing and it fills up. It's supposed to make methane gas. And I just haven't tried it yet. Yeah. Like there's one at your house, and then there's also one at my house that I built.
Mine's definitely producing something, because every time somebody forgets to flush it, my children, it's really,
gas comes back out?
Smells amazing. Not like poop.
Like methane.
Yes, it smells like gasoline.
Well, yeah, and mine, I actually sealed the top of mine with glue recently.
See you later, Rocky.
Bye, Rocky. So I sealed the top of it recently, which was like kind of the last step I had to do to make it work. And now all I really have to do is attach a tube to it with a valve, and supposedly it should work. But yeah, I think this is one of those things where when I actually do it, I think I'm going to be kicking myself for not having done it, presuming it works.
Yeah.
But part of my brain is like, oh, that's too good to be true.
Well, somebody did say recently that you want to make sure that you divert the urine from it, because it actually affects the amount or quality or something of it. So I don't know if that's any. Oh,
I didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's that. Anyway,
I heard you were supposed to put the pee and the poo and everything and food scraps and everything in there.
There's so much,
I don't know.
different information about it.
Supposedly it should be working though, but I'll have to try it.
That being said, what do you say about lunch?
All right, let's go have some lunch.
Coming today, actually. Speaking of sailboats.
Oh yeah, someone's coming to visit.
Yeah.
Where do you know this person from?
Couch surfing.
Couch surfing. All right.
He's German.
He's German.
He has a blog.
The Germans are coming.
He's awesome. I think I'm excited. I'm excited to meet him.
You think you're excited?
Yeah, I think so. He seems like a good person. He's funny. We practiced German together.
I still think it's weird to see myself with no hair on at all.
It looks great. You're very sexy.
Oh, jeez.
You kind of look like Jason Statham. You could be like a body double for Bruce Willis.
Do I look like a torpedo? Didn't Bruce Willis have to stop acting?
Yeah, I'm saying when he was younger.
Oh, yeah.
His body double is pretty cool, though.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's like totally out of a job, though.
Yeah.
They were like together for like 20 years or something.
Well, if I start making movies, he can be my body double.
You should message him.
Or maybe he can start making movies. I'll be his body double.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to start working out again.
Yeah, definitely.
I need some bigger muscles. I have really long arms.
Would a fiberglass telescopic mast work with space and variable wind speed direction?
Yeah, as long as you made it right, yeah. I think he's talking about for my sailboat. Although, if I mean, that is a possibility, but I was thinking more like just a whoosh, like something that would tuck down into a slot and just whoosh. Although, I don't know. I'll have to really think about the details.
Did you want to
I mean, it might just be better whoosh, shoving something up.
Did you want to show people how well your shaver worked on your arm?
Oh, wait, do I have a bald spot?
Yeah.
I'm not even supposed to be hairy here anyway.
No, but...
Apparently, I tested my shaver right here. And yeah, you can see. Because I don't have enough. I mean, I shaved my face with it. Yeah. But I was already pretty thing. And there wasn't any...
Oh, yeah, we have the cherries, too. Thanks for reminding me, Andrew. We also have the cherries, the Suriname cherries.
I planted those. They're looking good.
I bought one. I need to go buy more, I think.
Well, hopefully this one will make more cherries and we'll get the seeds. Yeah. So all the trees I planted so far are looking really good.
Oh, we have a curry plant, too.
Yes, we have a curry tree.
Yeah.
Is that related? Is that related to curry? No, different thing.
No, it's a different thing.
Yeah. But all the trees are doing really well.
I'm trying to think what the other names of some of the trees were. Longan was one of them. Coffee, we have a coffee plant.
Jackfruit. I'm excited about the custard apple, the sweet apple, sugar apple.
Yeah, whatever the heck it's
got like 20 different names. Yeah. Probably, It must be so amazing that people give it so many different names, right?
Yeah. All right.
All right. We're going to have lunch? What are we having for lunch?
I don't know. We got to go make it, though.
Oh, what do you have?
Food.
I have chili at my house.
Oh, you should have brought it. It was so
Well, maybe
good
you should
yesterday.
just come over.
No, I can't. I have a guy coming today.
You have a guy coming?
Yeah, I have a guy coming.
So have you dated any Latino guys since coming to Panama?
I haven't dated anybody but my daughter and son.
That didn't sound right, but I get what you're saying.
It's like not what it
all
should
your time
be.
is consumed by your...
I've been breastfeeding for 4 years straight, basically.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's about as fondling as I'm getting with another person right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you're more like, oh God, enough.
No, I really am.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, please don't touch me.
Yeah. I come by and I'm trying to like honk and you're like, get off.
No, you're touching me right now with
you're touching me with your foot.
No, don't touch me. Oh God, I almost woke up the child.
You did almost wake up the baby.
She's startled. Remember when they're little?
Oh, babies, the shake. Does everyone else have this? Yeah.
No, it's a reflex.
Yeah, like babies when they're sleeping, they'll just suddenly be like... and then they'll go back to normal. It's hilarious. It's like they just stiffen up for a moment.
Oh, thanks, Reach 3D Printer. Appreciate it.
Reach 3D Printers? Okay, wait.
Yeah,
Reach 3D Printers. Does he make 3D printers?
I don't know. Ask him.
Because I've been thinking about...
Or her. I don't want to assume you're a male or a female. Maybe you're... What's the word? Biotic?
Jeff would date you. Who would date me?
Wait.
Jeff's gonna be like, I'd date you too, if just.
Oh, Jeff.
Anyway, I want to know: does Reach 3D Printers make 3D printers or sell them or something? Because I've been thinking about getting back into some 3D printer stuff.
Michelle apparently loves jackfruit shakes. Maybe they'll come since we have jackfruit now growing.
But wait, I want to know if
no, he says not anymore, but I have a bunch. Oh, are you offering to send us like a bunch? Just kidding.
A bunch? Just send a bunch of 3D printers.
Kidding.
Like, do you have something good for like a reasonable price?
Yeah, you have to tell us. Can you send us an email because we would like to inquire about your prices.
I'm kind of in the market for a 3D printer. My current 3D printer situation is...
Hi, Alan.
I have 2 non-functional 3D printers that
he said I'll send you a bunch if you want some.
A bunch? I would take one.
Okay, so could you send me an email, theadventurebuildermovie@gmail.com, because I would like to discuss this.
Well, I want to just a couple things. We're talking right now. Okay, so I have 2 3D printers that are currently not functioning. I think I could Frankenstein them into one, but I was thinking I should just start from scratch at this point because I've got a mess.
A bunch of stuff, and it's all free.
And right now I have a bunch of filament that's 3 millimeters.
It is a long commute, Jeff. You would have to be here, I think. But literally, like here.
Okay. So does he have anything that works with 3 millimeter filament? Because I have 5-pound rolls. I think I have 3 of them. And one of them's glow in the dark.
Apparently, Kira says if you want a nice machine, I personally prefer the Prussia printers. They're made in Czech, and you can get kits and assemble it yourself, as shipping is the worst for printers.
Is it Prusa?
Prusa,
Yeah, Prusa. Prussia. Luckily, I know a little bit.
I know nothing. I'm okay with that.
That's okay.
So,
Prusa is a type of.
So yeah, so
anyway.
please send me a message so we can further discuss this, because we're gonna go eat lunch.
Dude, I'm excited.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I've been wanting to 3D print.
3D printing, yes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Should we say bye?
All right, we better just go eat lunch before this one starts.
Send an email, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can send him an email.
Oh, he says I don't for 3mm, just for 1.75, but they can be adapted to 3mm very easily.
Oh, well, I would totally get some new filaments if I got something that was good.
Okay, he'll email me. Okay.
Okay. Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Okay, guys, so we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we're gonna go make some lunch with all the food you don't have.
Yeah, I have lots of food.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
I have lots of food at my house too.
Yeah.
Dude, if the apocalypse happened right now, that would actually be kind of okay.
Well, maybe. We need to get our fishing game on a little bit better.
Oh, I've got fishing hooks and I've got the stuff.
Somebody asked how the rabbits were doing. They're doing really well. We ended up with only one surviving bunny out of the 5.
There was a boa constrictor that ate 3.
Yeah, it was really sad, actually. So,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Oh, wait, we have one more question, I think, maybe. If you do get a 3D printer, can you try 3D printing shark denticles on the bottom of your boat? It's supposed to stop barnacles from forming.
Oh. Isn't that supposed to be really tiny stuff?
I don't know. Okay.
Anyway, okay.
We're going to go.
All right, we're going to go.
We're going to see you guys next week.
Wait, I'm waiting for who would date me. Come on, man.
Okay.
All right, this is going to take. All right, this is going to take too long.
Would anybody date this man?
Someone's going to say, if I wasn't married. All right, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, anybody just throwing out there, theadventurebuildermovie@gmail.com. Drop him a line. I can give you all his details.
All right. All my details.
All of them. Okay, bye.
All right, let me push the button.
It's that button.
I apologize for what just happened in the last 33 seconds. This one?
Jeff has 7 sisters,
Wait,
apparently.
that button up there?
Yeah, that one right there.
Whoa.
Are any of them available?
Are you sure you want to stop streaming?
Yes.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Don't you hate it? Don't you hate it when you can't
Sir
stop streaming?
Mac Doc said he'd date you if he was a girl.
All right. Yeah.